They called him the Diesel.
Crank up that diesel. Let's go.
He leaned across the table and he goes, "You need to get me back there. I'll make you famous."
And to Riggins, good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone. He's gone.
It's Riggo the Diesel.
Welcome to Riggo the Diesel. I am that person, John Riggins, along with Larry Michael, your voice of the Redskins. And this is the day after the Super Bowl. I got to ask
here. We switched dates, huh?
What's that?
Monday taping today.
Yeah, we are. We're
Good.
Fresh. We're
on top of the action.
And fairly early in the morning, 10 o'clock. By the way, this is show 65 in honor of Dave Butts, obviously. You attended the Super Bowl, not the game itself.
Right.
But I got to ask you, what was Miami like? And when did you go down? And I knew you came back yesterday morning, but I'd heard rumors that the gridlock was just off the charts.
Well, it always is, especially when there's so much happening. What was it like? Well, we had a couple debacles. We were staying on the beach. We were staying at Miami Beach. Redskins Hotel was down there, which made the trip to Radio Row very, very easy. It was less than a mile away, so we'd walk to work and walk back from work, which was great. The weather was so-so. Actually, the weather is better today than it was better today here in Washington.
Is that right?
Than in any of the days I was there.
Really?
I mean, warmer. It was 75 there, but a lot of cloud cover. Rained a couple of the days we were there. Actually rained bad on Saturday. A couple bad thunderstorms, but the game, thank goodness, got in without weather. We went to the media party the first night we were there, and as we were dropped off by our Uber, a train broke down. A freight train broke down on the road, the only road into this party. And it was at these docks. It was really well done, but there was no way in because you couldn't go over. The freight train broke down, and the road was completely
blocked. The road.
Blocked everything. And one of our guys, you know Devontae?
Yeah.
He wanted to jump over the back of the train to get over. The guy says to him, "It's a federal offense if you do that. You will be arrested." So he
to cross a train track while a train's sitting on it?
Yes. And so what they ended up doing, there was a lot of people gathering. People were getting dropped off at the front of this place. And there was a couple hundred people there all pissed off. And so they went down underneath the bridge, a trellis, I guess it is. A railroad goes over a bridge. And they opened a gate, and everybody walked under the bridge and walked. It was about 2 miles.
Trestle.
Yeah. And then walked all the way up on the other side of the road where it would have been blocked. And the ladies in the shoes, man, they were really complaining. It was gravel. It was bad. It was bad.
Jeez.
So that was a good event. And then we had...
By the time it was over with, had they cleared the track?
Yes. By
so
the
you
time
didn't have
it was
to
over,
go back, though.
But they said it wasn't going to be cleared anytime soon. So you will go in there and you enjoy the party, then you leave, which was good. We ended up... great work at Radio Row. Really, really, it was impressed with Ron Rivera and how he did the interview gauntlet. And he must have done, on Wednesday and Thursday, he did, I would say, about 20 interviews. He did all the morning shows on Thursday morning. On Wednesday, he went through Radio Row. And he was, I tell you what, up there in the category of Joe Theismann, being able to do about 20 interviews in one day.
You're getting up there when you get into Joe's category. I mean, he is professional grade.
And he was, that's exactly right. And it was great. And, obviously, good food there, good time. It's a very upbeat place. But never step foot on the beach, never step foot.
Well, there was no reason to, right, with the weather the way it was?
Yeah, there was no. But, people were really nice. You noticed a lot more Kansas City fans, walking around, which I
But they said that we were talking yesterday because T-Cat came over to the game and watched it over at our house. But I think they said that San Francisco fans really gobbled up more tickets.
Price of the tickets.
Did they?
Big money coming from Frisco.
And
ticket prices, I've never seen them like that.
Yeah.
I think an average ticket I saw it was like $8,000 for an average ticket.
Yeah.
Sure. Whoa.
$8,000.
Ticket? But, we're going to talk about the entertainment and everything, and pregame with saw Coach Gibbs was there, and what a weekend for Coach Gibbs.
Yeah, what he had Thursday night, he was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and then on Sunday,
then turned around and one of the 100 greatest or 10 greatest coaches. In
That's
NFL.
Pretty good.
That's what you call dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Yeah. Well, then did the team have a party?
Team had several events. I attended one on Friday evening at a place called Red the Steakhouse. A bunch of clients were there. Great spot. People there treated us great. And then Saturday, obviously on Saturday,
and that's what I was going to head.
Voting, yeah. So that was my whole day was committed to that. I needed to be there at 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't get done until about 3:30. It was pretty. It was the most interesting one of these sessions I've been to yet.
Is that right?
You may not know, you were talking about the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Yes.
Voting committee and selection.
Hall of Fame voting.
Is this your third year, Larry?
It's my third year, and there's a lot of questions about the format moving forward now that they've done this with the seniors and the coaches and
cut you guys out of it, right? You had nothing to do with the 10 that were already, or the 15, I think it was.
Yes, that centennial class.
Yeah,
but I got to tell you, this guy Dave Baker, a lot of people he gets heat from certain people. David Baker, the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame,
right?
That very large man who knocks on the door, but he's such a nice man. He's such a well-spoken guy, and Hall of Fame changes their rules every few years. The bylaws are, as you might say, fluid to some degree. So don't really know. I mean, there was a time where they weren't voting on coaches at all, and now there's discussions about having a coaching wing or. Obviously reinstituting the senior vote. The senior vote in previous years, under the previous rules, was every other year it'd be 2 seniors. It would be 1 senior, then 2 seniors, which never made any sense to anybody. And I think because of the fact they had the centennial class and a lot of guys who had hoped to get in, like our guy Joe Jacoby,
right.
They didn't. And it's glaring how many guys, they kind of need to do that a few times to kind of get the guys that they deserve. Yeah, but that was interesting. And then Saturday night, we went to a Mexican restaurant. You know what? I'll tell you something. I ran into Cecil.
Yeah. He told me he was going down.
Yeah, I ran into Cecil, which I'll tell you off the air, just crazy coincidence to run into him. And Miami's a big city.
Yeah.
Big city.
Yeah, pretty good size. I was going to ask you, as far as I know, there aren't any assistant coaches in the Hall of Fame, are there? Has there ever been an assistant coach? I think of a guy like Joe Bugle, and there's plenty of others out there. Yeah, and Richie. I mean, it goes on as far as. But you wonder at some point. Well, I guess you got head coaches going in, you can't get an assistant coach in.
Well, some of the discussion obviously is what's going to happen, and really they have a board of trustees, a board of directors. They look at these rules. They always are trying to make it better. It's a not-for-profit organization, even though the Hall of Fame itself has grown just incredibly large in Canton. And I think I'd commend David Baker for doing a lot of good work for the Hall of Fame. But there's always going to be something sticking in somebody's craw about somebody not getting in, and he's got to hear that from everybody.
Which I think John Lynch is still feeling he's feeling the burn, feeling the pain.
I don't know.
He went from having the win-win to a lose-lose.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did. And what'd you think of the game?
It was what I thought it would be for the most part. Now, I thought that San Francisco would win this game. And when I said that last week, it was something in me that didn't feel right about it. Part of it is because of Andy Reid, and everybody wanted to see him. But somehow I thought their defense would prevail. And ultimately, it did for the longest time. But finally, in the end, it didn't quite work out. But I also felt this way. And I don't know what you saw. And, this is... I have as they say, I didn't have any allegiance to either team, but I really felt like the officials just let this game go because I thought the holding that was going on with the Chiefs linemen, I'm going, my God, this is ridiculous, where they were latching on to guys and they just go ahead, keep going.
Hey, Todd, how many penalties were called in that game?
I don't think, by the way, I don't believe there was one offensive holding call on either team. No. That's got to be what's that? That's insane.
There's a couple pass interference. Find out during the break, but yeah.
And there was a false start. You had a couple of those.
Not a lot.
Neutral zone.
Yeah.
I mean, the game just went like this.
It did.
I mean, if we didn't have that halftime, it'd have been over with. You've been gone. You got to be kidding me.
And you know what? That first half, I thought I saw 2 nervous teams on both sides. Strategy, play. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested in your thoughts because they let the clock run out at the first half. That's something everybody, why did they let that happen? One of those teams could have put some points on the board. Mahomes didn't look that great. Garoppolo was missing people. It just seemed like both teams had a little bit of a nervous edge to them.
Let's take a break and come back and get on top of the game.
You got it. Looking for another chance to win? $100,000 scratch or replay from the Virginia Lottery is exactly that, now through March 31. Any non-winning Virginia Lottery scratcher offers a shot at winning $500 the daily drawing, or even a $10,000 grand prize. Here's a lowdown. Any non-winning Virginia Lottery scratcher can be entered into the daily drawing. So if you have a non-winning ticket, you can still win. In each daily drawing, 2 players will win $500 each. And that's with the ticket that previously didn't win. Every entry into the daily drawing is automatically entered into the grand prize drawing, which is set for April 7th. On April 7th, one lucky player will win $10,000 grand prize.
All right, now, it's 65 degrees today, or going to be somewhere thereabouts, but it's not going to stay like that. Winter or summer, winter isn't over with yet. So, you know what? You might have some pipes that are going to be exposed. Get O'Connor Plumbing, 1-833-RIGGLE-44, to come out and check out your plumbing system. I've been using them for years now, and I can't think of a better company to work with. They've got the greatest people come out. They tell you what it is. They do it at a reasonable price. They have extended hours. No overtime charges. So 1-833-RIGGLE-44, O'Connor Plumbing. Give them a try.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand back and watch the Phoenix rise from the ashes.
Stand back. It's Riggo the Diesel.
I worked on that all morning. My line. I had to say that.
You had that to do over again.
Yeah, I don't know what I say. There was nobody in the stands anyway. I don't even know why.
Early.
Seriously, exactly. It was before the game. Yeah. It was a Thursday night game. There was nobody there.
I remember how cold it was.
Chicago. Yeah, Chicago brought it with them. They brought the Hawk with them. Yeah. Anyhow, the game. Where do we want to go with this?
Well, what first half impressions? Let's start there. Looked like the teams were, to me, they looked nervous, and it was a 10-10 tie at halftime.
Yeah.
And
surprising, no scores.
Yes.
Very low scoring.
First half impressions.
Well, I kind of thought that, that Kansas City, for whatever reason, but, for the 2 previous playoff games that they played, they fell behind, and they did a little bit, actually they scored first, I think, didn't they? They kicked a field goal right off the bat, didn't they?
They did.
They kicked a field goal. And so they're up, and so they probably didn't know where they were and going, oh, this is odd. But I kind of thought that everybody was, like you said, it was very conservative. But at the same time, I kind of felt like, Kansas City they were running the ball a little bit more. And I thought, well, they like to throw the ball. But I suppose everything when I've never been an offensive coordinator, but I suppose you try to set things up as the game goes on. And, of course, then the game will evolve, and you're going, well, what I was planning to do isn't working, so I got to change some stuff. And by the time they got to the second half, Kansas City started to adjust. But the reason I thought that San Francisco would win this game is I really felt like that their pass rush would be something that Mahomes wasn't used to and hadn't seen, and they would be able to contain him. They weren't able to do that. I think Kansas City got the idea that, well, if we're going to drop him back, we're going to have a problem because their ends do get upfield so far, he's not going to be able to get outside. So they started rolling him out and putting him out there on the edge and because, that's the one thing that makes him so effective in my book is that you put him out in space and he can, you got to do something, and he keeps you you're sitting there trying to figure out what to do. Next thing you know, he runs for a first down.
Right.
And I think that was a little bit of the difference. And I will say this. I do think that there was Bosa in particular, I thought, was really putting pressure on him early in the game. And he was being held a lot of the time. And when I say a lot of the time, enough that a flag should have been thrown at some point to say, hey, we got to knock that stuff off.
Right.
But they just let it go the whole game. So I guess this is one of those games where they kind of the refs put blinders on and just let them play, which, depends on which side you look at, is if that's, but I'm sure it worked out the other way as well. I'm sure that the Frisco guys were holding people, so maybe that balanced itself out.
What were you thinking when San Fran went up in the fourth quarter? It was a 2-score game. And
They're up 20-10.
Yeah, and Kansas City was floundering. They really weren't doing much of anything. And they were getting to Mahomes. They were at least touching him. Did you think they'd come back in that fourth quarter like that?
Here's what it got down to as I think back on this. I think you're correct. I think Mahomes was a little bit rattled. I think that it wasn't going the way he made some throw. The one throw that the first interception was, you got to be kidding me. How did
behind the guy?
No, the one where he throws it late, and there's four San Francisco defenders standing around, and the linebacker, number 54, steps in front of it.
Yep.
It's like, how did you make that? What did you do? What were you thinking? Like I said, I think he was rattled because he was getting pressured. The other one was he threw it behind Hill.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like that San Francisco missed a real opportunity when they got the ball back and they ended up doing a 3-and-out.
Yes,
and that to me
agree.
is like that's when Kansas City's defense to me is the one that really stopped the blood flow. They staunched the wound. And I think at that point is when Kansas City thought, we can get back in this game because there was all kinds of time. Had San Francisco started to march the ball then and just take it down and eat up about 5-6 minutes off the clock, I don't think Kansas City would have came back from that. But that was a key. To me, that was a key element. That San Francisco got the ball back with the opportunity to take control of the game, and they didn't.
Should Damian Williams been the MVP?
Yes, without a doubt. But here's what here's what you fall into, and it happens no matter what you do, and this is what you realize when you look at the Hall of Fame. This is all about brands.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it, and it's show business. You have to look at that aspect. This really isn't that much different than the Academy Awards. And so if you're a big name and you're out there, and he's the coming star of the NFL, and the kid that we're talking about, Williams, where will he be next year? He may not even be in the NFL. Yeah. And Mahomes is going to be a star of the future. Well, who should carry that title? I mean, you got to look at it from whether, these guys are supposed to be, in other words, this is an objective vote, but I can't hardly see where, he played very pedestrian when it's all said and done. He did some things that were uncharacteristic. But when you really think about it, Larry, what are the odds of another player becoming an MVP nowadays when everything goes through the quarterback? They get paid by far the most money. They handle the ball all the time. It's almost odd that a quarterback wouldn't be the MVP, or somehow you couldn't justify making him an MVP just based on the position alone. They ought to have 2 awards. One would be best quarterback, and the other would be the other guy that was most instrumental in helping your team to victory.
So you're saying only quarterbacks get to go to Disneyland?
Yes, that's the way it turns out.
This sounds like a little bit of a running back inferiority complex. There's a little bit.
Actually, if there was going to be an inferiority complex, it'd be somebody on the defensive side of the ball, because those guys hardly ever get in. Who was the last? Oh, I guess it was Von Miller. Yeah. But try to figure out the next guy before him. Probably Chuck Howley from Super Bowl 3 or 5 or whatever it was.
How about 2 plays that I say were key plays in that game that are just under the radar plays? One was Mahomes was scrambling, and he runs into that DB, and the DB goes down on that one scramble. Yeah. I think that fired up the Kansas City defense. And then on that touchdown pass, the first touchdown to Kelsey, they knifed through that defense so quickly. And that touchdown pass to Kelsey, he caught that running out of the end zone. And it was like, okay, you're not going to stop us. From this point forward, we're taking over the game. And they did. I thought that was really kind of like.
Was that the first score? Did that make it 17-20?
That took them within 1 score, that one.
So it would have been. That was the first score.
Yeah,
they got a
field
touchdown
goal to tie, but they ended up getting a touchdown on that long pass.
And then Williams scored the next touchdown, didn't he, to put him ahead?
Yeah. Well, they were down 3, and then who did score that? Williams scored that touchdown too, right?
He's the first player to throw for over 100 yards at a rushing touchdown.
And and that was the one that had to be looked at.
Yes, the point of the ball.
The point of the ball was over, but that big pass to Sammy Watkins set that up. I mean, they needed a field goal to tie, and instead they're right there in the red zone, boom, 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 and San Francisco just couldn't come back. I think Garoppolo, both the quarterbacks. I mean, if you had the best quarterback in that game, I guess it had to be Mahomes.
It was,
but neither.
I agree with that.
Neither was really impressive.
No, they weren't. It was astonishing, really, how kind of average they were. And I'm trying to think. And Garoppolo, I mean, here's the other thing about this game, too, that I think needs to be mentioned. Kansas City's defense.
Yeah.
Because everything, once again, when you've gotten as much publicity as Mahomes gets and has gotten, everything revolves around him. And so it's all about the offense and how quick strike they are. And even though that really, one long, pass that they made to Hill, 40-yard. But other than that, that was probably one of the longest plays.
He was wide open, too.
Yeah, he was standing there by himself. He had to wait on the ball. Had he thrown it a little bit with not so much arch on it, he probably would have ran in for a touchdown. But you would have thought, Kansas City was going to score a lot more points. But their defense, you got to give their defense a lot of credit, because 2 weeks ago, San Francisco, which I didn't anticipate yesterday, but San Francisco, running back runs for over 200 yards in a championship game. They shut things down. They have gotten, and I think that was the turning point for the Chiefs, really, when it's all said and done, about this season. Their defense changed. Their defense at the beginning of the year was somewhat porous. And over the last part of the stretch of the season, they got better and better to the point where, they pretty much just throttled San Francisco. At least I felt that way.
So Kendall Fuller is a Super Bowl champion. Bashad Breeland is a Super Bowl champion. 2 former Redskins. And I would say the halftime show. The halftime show to me, I mean, I've got a lot of opinions on this halftime show, and I know a lot of people tune in for the halftime show. You remember why they do this such a big, huge halftime show, right?
No.
Do you remember why they do this?
Why they?
Because wasn't it Fox that used to counter-program the halftime of the Super Bowl and put on a concert?
Oh, we're really trying to draw people over. Huh?
Yes. I remember a Michael Jackson concert for Pepsi that they did, and it was on another channel. Might not have been Fox. I think it was Fox.
In other words, but they were
Before
going
Fox had the rights.
opposite. They were going opposite.
So they're saying when that Super Bowl reaches halftime and the talking heads start, turn it over to Fox or whatever it was back then. I think it was Fox, and watch Michael Jackson brought to you by Pepsi. You remember that?
Yes.
And so then they had to kind of take it a step up and a step up and a step up. And obviously since Janet Jackson and what happened with the
wardrobe malfunction,
they've tried to really make it a family show.
I don't know if that was family entertainment yesterday. Huh?
Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. Is that fair?
Yeah. Todd
Can't wait. Whether you're on the field or in the classroom, the Washington Redskins believe learning should be fun. That's why we partner with youth entrepreneurs to bring their engaging, hands-on style of learning to classrooms in the D.C. metro area. Youth Entrepreneurs curriculum was created by educators for educators. That means it's flexible, fun, and absolutely free. To learn more about Youth Entrepreneurs and how to experience it for yourself, visit getye.org. And by the way, Terry McLaurin, very good spokesman for Youth Entrepreneurs. He did the gauntlet at Radio Row, and that is an impressive kid. Terry McLaurin, receiver for the Redskins.
Yeah.
Got to get him to come on the show here soon. Super well spoken. How about this? Did you know that your Washington Redskins are sponsored by Koch Industries? That's K-O-C-H, Koch. Their 67,000 U.S. employees make a lot of things that make game day better. Greener turf, they make that. Stronger paper products for tailgating, of course they make that. Oh, and electronic components in TVs and smart devices so you can watch the Redskins win in 2020. Yeah, Koch makes that too. See all they make for on and off the field at kochmakesthat.com. Final reminder, stay up to minute with all the Redskins news this offseason. Download the official Washington Redskins mobile app. Geographic and device restrictions apply. Data charges may apply.
Hey, I'm bored, I'm broke, and I'm back.
Who's bored? Who's broke? And who's back?
I wanted to always see the redwoods. I wanted to see the Rocky Mountains. I wanted to see the Painted Desert, the Petrified Forest, the Grand Canyon. That was like the land that I always wanted to go to.
John Riggins.
By the way, Larry, I happen to see on our notes here that Chiefs dynasty and, what's going to be like going forward. First, let me say this. Oh, no. They came within, well, in some ways you could say they very well could have and maybe should have been the Super Bowl champs last year. They get a guy that jumps offside, which had absolutely no significance in the play that I recall. In fact, he was Ford, who's one of the outside rushers for San Francisco.
49ers.
Yeah, for the 49ers. Remember that last year in the championship game against New England? He's offsides. Brady throws an interception. Game's over with, but they call him offside.
I remember that. Thank you for jogging my memory.
I'm just saying, Kansas City was there last year. Probably could have been. But, the NFL is so unpredictable. I wouldn't guarantee Kansas City's going to be back in this game next year.
Who knows? I mean, what?
It's a long way off, but at the same time,
they've got a pretty good quarterback. But, he's still inexperienced, still a young guy.
A lot of things can happen.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So, pregame festivities first, and then we'll get to halftime. It was great to see Coach Gibbs be honored with all the other 100 greatest. And I thought
and Kenny Houston was there, I think, wasn't he? Was
Kenny
there?
I saw Daryl there.
I didn't see Kenny.
I didn't see Daryl. Well, maybe Kenny.
I saw Daryl.
I saw Daryl as well.
So it was just the only two from here were Daryl and Joe?
Sammy wasn't able to make it.
Sammy didn't make it. So. He was there in spirit, we
Sammy
might say.
couldn't make it. But, yeah, I'm not sure. They showed a shot of Daryl during that introduction. He was with a lot of DBs there, but I tried real quick to see, but it was just a quick TV shot, and I didn't see.
Yeah, exactly. They went through some of them really quick, and then they would sit there and dwell on some of the people, like Don Shula. He got two times airtime. They came to him in the beginning.
What about Belichick with his rings move?
Yeah, now he has 6 of them, right? But he only wore 3.
Yeah.
Why did he only have 3 on?
Well, the others might,
He cheated on the other 3.
Those are too big.
He felt bad about it.
His
Said, "I
biceps
can't wear
aren't
the
strong,
cheating
and he
rings, huh?"
couldn't hold them up. They're so heavy, maybe.
It might be. Have to wear boxing gloves to protect his hands.
So, but I got a chance. I got back from Miami yesterday morning. I got a chance to kind of settle in and watch, some of the pregame show, and I thought they had a lot of interesting pregame features. The interview with the president was certainly unique in how that was was with Sean Hannity. I don't know if you saw that, but
I missed it. He had a party down there at Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. And Dexter was at the party.
Dexter was at the party with the president on Saturday night.
Dexter took a picture of it was a unique photograph that Todd has on his cell phone, because he said that Dexter's shooting a man that's shooting a man. I mean, on a camera. In other words, you can see this guy's camera who's getting ready to take a picture of President Trump, and Dexter's standing behind him. So it's
taking
almost
a
like
picture.
In Dexter's picture, you see President Trump plus the guy that's actually got him in focus on his camera. It's a pretty unique picture.
Do you think if you got a chance to shake the president's hand,
Dexter asked for my advice, and I said,
can't put the squeeze on him. He might get arrested.
Not give him the handshake.
No.
Secret Service. They're going to take care. You cannot.
No, you can't do that. For those that don't know, Dexter Manley likes to break your hand when he shakes your hand.
I don't think I've never known with Dexter. Is he doing it intentionally? You'd have to believe that the answer is yes.
I got to believe it's yes. He's trying to break your hand.
But at some point, wouldn't he he will back it off. I've gotten to the point where I go, Dex, which way are we going to do this? You ain't, or I'll just give him 2 fingers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you ain't getting the whole hand, Dexter. It's like sticking your hand in an alligator's mouth. It ain't going to work out very well.
Man.
I can tell you that much.
And then there was the team intros with The Rock doing a very high quality, Hollywood type of introduction. If you didn't see that, that was worth watching. And I did. My kind of attention was drawn to the pregame about an hour before kickoff when they went to the stage, and it was Pitbull singing a song. I don't know if you happen to see that.
Was that with Rob Riggle? Was that the same one, or is that another? That was later.
Pitbull, This is Pitbull performing a song with 12 dancers dressed in these red outfits, which had strategic parts of the outfit missing. And they didn't show a lot of shots from. They didn't turn their back to the audience, if you will.
That's where the action was.
As a result of how these outfits had been styled, and it got my attention. I have to be honest with you, it got my attention. And Pitbull's just energetic guy. He's from Miami. It was all about that Latin beat.
Mr. 305.
Mr. 305. That's right.
Worldwide.
But I don't know if that's his normal group that he performs with.
I think so.
Well, it'd be worth going to see him for more than one song.
Well, every time I've seen Pitbull, I mean, he's got the dancers around him and all that stuff. I mean, he performed about 5 years ago on New Year's Eve, and I mean, he was tearing it up.
Out of control, man.
Oh, yeah. He's got it going on.
He's a big hit in the Riggins family.
Yeah, he is.
Pitbull is?
What's his big song?
Yeah, you guys dance it
Fireball.
Yeah, that's a good one. Then, of course, it was halftime.
Yes.
Then before you knew it, it was 10-10. And they do an extended break so they can put the stage up. It's interesting.
How long is halftime? 30 minutes?
I think it's 30 minutes. It's usually
because
like
normally
15.
in a regular game it's 12 minutes. And halftime's supposed to be 12 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what Jimmy Johnson said, which is very interesting? He says coaches can make a lot more adjustments. Players are going to have to warm up a little bit, but you've got time to actually talk through adjustments because of the length of halftime. It gives the coaches an opportunity they don't have during the game. So, of course, Joe did that 3 times, I guess, Joe Gibbs, and it worked out pretty
But
good.
also consider this, Larry, the sophistication with what they can show them at halftime. I mean, literally, as the game's going on, they're looking at game footage on the iPads that they have on the sidelines. I mean, I'm sure you go in the locker room, I don't know. Well, you might know. Do they have like a video screen up there?
I'm sure they can they can wireless, they could Bluetooth
yeah, exactly.
That thing
They can go
up on
back and say, you see what this safety's doing right here,
Yes.
and so on and all that stuff.
Watching Shakira and J-Lo at half. The players.
I don't know if they were. John, who would you say had the edge at halftime, Shakira or J-Lo?
Oh, I went with Shakira all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My vote's for Shakira, too.
Yeah.
Shakira's much better.
We're not lying.
She's a great dancer. She's a great dancer,
Well,
great shape, you know.
Didn't sing a one note.
No, that
In
was
fact,
all.
so much so, we were watching, and she's singing, and she's not even holding her microphone up to her mouth.
The mic next to her mouth.
Yeah, she got the mic down here.
I remember that part. I remember the part.
And I'm thinking, and that's when I finally hit home what Todd was talking about. They're just lip syncing up there.
Yeah. But the same thing happened to J-Lo when she was on that pole. Her hands were down like this, and
she's singing away, and her voice is coming through loud and clear. No mic.
Physically impossible, upside down.
There's no microphone. There's no microphone. But like I said,
and that was a throwback to her movie, Hustler.
Good family entertainment.
Yeah.
I get
good family entertainment.
If you're over 21.
I don't know how they do it, and I like back in the Westwood days, we do the Super Bowl. And you'd know when they came out for rehearsal, all those people that are out there that are dancing. Like Shakira went out there and body surfed there for a minute, Right. She looked kind of worried that they might drop her. Those are paid people there. They're not going to drop her, or they're not getting paid.
That's what I was wondering too. The people that are up on stage, is that part of her retinue, or that? I think
the people
she
on
wouldn't
the
travel
stage,
the many people.
the dancers.
Were you telling me that the NFL takes over that halftime show as soon as they book whoever the act is going to be? They start working with them and their own people they bring in,
I
and they sub out the dancers and all this stuff.
What's the theme gonna be? How we're gonna do
Got
it?
Shakira had lady dancers, and J-Lo had male dancers.
Yes.
Female and male dancers. I don't know. Maybe that's how they
black white outfits. It was whole. I kind of like their outfits actually.
I thought it was. I don't know.
Very empowering.
By the way, the commercial. What commercial? I had a hard time hearing my commercials. My house has got bad acoustics in it, but the one commercial that caught my eye was Sam. Sam. I almost had his name.
Sam Watterson. What's the guy say?
The guy with the voice.
Yeah, he always plays a
it's
cowboy.
Not Watterson. Yes. It's not Watterson, but it's Sam. Well,
I know who you mean.
Anyway, the one guy puts on some dance moves. Yeah. He makes his mustache do the same thing. I thought.
X.
Who is it?
Lil somebody.
Yeah, Lil Nas.
Lil Nas.
Old Town Road.
John, it's on you got that locked on your car radio right now.
Yeah, the first thing I'll do is go out and listen to it.
Lil Nas. That was you know what? I got to admit, I'm a Ric Flair fan. When I saw Ric Flair do the hummus,
that's who that was.
When I saw Ric Flair do the hummus commercial, that just cracked me up. It got my attention, and there was a whole bunch of different people on there. One of the guys there was a bunch of different people, stars in there, about how they enjoy their hummus. Like Boomer Esiason says was the pretzel. Somebody said with the celery. Somebody else said with the carrot. But just to have Ric Flair at the beginning and end of that. That by far is the best commercial.
Ric Flair may be one of those guys, and this would be something you would like to be able to actually have seen the face-off. Him and Doug Atkins.
Oh, my
Ric
gosh.
Flair, I went down to Miami or to Tampa last year when they played in Tampa, and I was hanging around with some of the wrestlers. And actually, it was
Hulk Hogan.
It was Hulk Hogan that told me about Ric Flair. And I'm talking to him, and he's talking about, no, you don't even want to know what the guy never drank water.
Right.
It was beer, vodka, whatever. But
wine.
But to the point where it almost killed him. But
right. Put him in a hospital in critical condition.
Exactly.
Ric Flair walked through Radio
that guy
Row.
could hang, huh?
He walked through Radio Row. He was there with his wife, and he got a lot of attention. As he walked through there, people were there was a buzz when he was in there. Not many people had that kind of buzz. Lawrence Taylor, when he came in there, drew that kind of buzz. Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champ, drew that kind of buzz, where there was just this huge vacuum of people just being sucked up by his energy as he walked through. Kind of like Todd when he enters a big restaurant. Just all this energy that comes in with him.
He's used to it. He wouldn't know the difference. He wouldn't know.
What was your favorite commercial?
The Ric Flair commercial.
Rankings right here.
The hummus commercial with Ric Flair was my favorite one. I thought that just was out of left field.
Riggo?
I go with the Sam, whatever his name is.
Go over the ratings real quick. I know we're running long, but this is the Super Bowl.
Groundhog Day.
Yes.
With Bill Murray was number one.
That was good. That was good. I like that.
Smart Pock, the Hyundai commercial.
With all the Boston accents? Yeah, that was good too. That was good.
Was that with the actor Krasinski or whatever his name is?
Krasinski and Rachel Dratch and a couple others.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Google's ad for Loretta. I don't really remember that one.
I don't remember that one.
Ranch with Lil Nas and Sam, fill in the blank, who's the favorite.
It was a Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yes.
Yes, that was a good one.
My favorite one was, I had two, Rocket Mortgage with Jason Momoa, and he's peeling off his muscles.
That was very well done.
That was
very. Was that him?
That was him. That was.
But not after he peeled off the muscle, so it wasn't him.
No, that was somebody else, though, right? That's somebody else that I think that people know. I thought I heard one of my daughters talking about, well, that's so-and-so. He goes with somebody.
Yeah, it's Jason Momoa, who's married to Lisa Bonet.
Oh, maybe that. Okay. The big burly guy.
And
yeah.
Not the actor that played.
How about the Before Alexa with Ellen DeGeneres and Portia?
I can't say I saw that one. I don't remember that one.
What they used to do back in the historical days before they had Alexa.
Before they had Alexa?
Yeah.
They talked on
the
phone.
one, she said, when you lower the temperature 2 degrees, then the gal just grabs a couple sticks out of the fire and throws them through the window. That was pretty good.
So that was the rankings, huh?
Those were your top.
Where was my hummus?
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
That was good, too, with MC Hammer. He looked pretty good.
Now, here's one. How many products or companies do you remember that these ads were actually for?
I mean, I thought the one about the mortgage with the guy taking the muscles off, I didn't know what it was until the very end. There was a couple commercials. Right. I had no idea. The Cool Ranch with the guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't know what that was until
He's married
the
to
very
Ally
end.
McGraw, by the way.
Yeah. Gosh. This is on the tip of the tongue. Sam.
You know, you can look it up on your phone. Sam Elliott. There you go.
Elliott.
Very good.
Producer
there you go.
Stevie nails it.
Way to go,
came
Steve.
through.
For 10 minutes.
It's the longest Virgo podcast in history, I believe.
Sam Elliott.
It's the longest one ever.
This is what they call it. Well, I mean, it was a Super Bowl. It's a bonus round.
High
right?
quality entertainment.
Save some for episode 66.
Yes.
Next week.
We'll do it again next week.
All righty.
What are we going to talk about next week?
We'll figure it out.
All right.
100K Scratcher Replay.
We're here with Bob, who's about to play a Virginia Lottery Scratcher. Here he goes, and he didn't win. Sorry, Bob. Wait, check the replay. I don't believe it! He turned his non-winning Scratcher into a winner!
100K Scratcher Replay.
Enter any non-winning Virginia Lottery Scratcher for a chance to win $500 daily or the $10,000 grand prize. Visit VALottery.com/replay for details. Odds of winning depend on the number of entries received.
Winter is the season for adventure. And if you want a car as exciting as your lifestyle, then it has to be an all-wheel drive Honda SUV. With more features, the CR-V has standard Honda sensing, more room for friends. The Pilot has seating for 8, more comfort. The HR-V has available heated seats, and more rugged. The Passport is built for adventure with ample cargo space and hidden storage compartments. Winter adventure is calling, and Honda is ready to answer. See your local Honda dealer today.
Dear customer service, I can always count on Novak. My power is always on, my payments always go through, and Novak actually cares about the community they serve.
Dear Novak, your electric costs are reasonable. Some electricity is from alternative sources, and cost reductions are passed along during the year. Thanks.
Novak, power you can count on.
Hey Redskins Nation, this is the old pro Darryl Green. How many of you out there are tired of dealing with the big banks who answer your phones with that dreaded recording? Press 1, press 2, press 3. If you want personal customer service, I recommend giving Main Street Bank a call. I promise you, your call will be answered by a person and not a robot. And you'll be treated with the courtesy you deserve. I know, I'm a founding director of Main Street Bank. So try us out. Visit mstreetbank.com. We bank where you breathe. Member FDIC.